going. I totally didn't announce this stream, so I should probably do that. But in any case, hi everybody, it's Sarah. It is Thursday today, and I'm still assembling stuff like a crazy person, and I did a little bit of CAD this morning, so I'm off to a little bit later start than usual, but whatever. It's okay. I was designing like an attachment plate for the other thing I was working on earlier this week. Today I'm working on Noodle's legs. I mentioned that during my last stream. Because I have some deadlines that are approaching soon, and why does everybody call me right when I start streaming? Oh my gosh. No, I can't take the call. Assembling NoodleFeet's new leg meats. If you can. There we go. There, I announced the fact that I'm streaming. Assembling NoodleFeet's new leg meats. If you would like to hang out while I do, I am here. Yeah! Hashtag Robohemian. Robohemian. There we go. Okay. And that's how it goes. I've been so bad about taking follow-up pictures for the end of my streams. That's totally something that I need to get better about, so that it's not just a bunch of tweets of like the link to my YouTube channel and that's it. Alright. Closing window. Hi Ron, hi Nick, hi Coolin. How are you guys doing? I'm totally avoiding DEF CON. Like, that's something that's going on here in Vegas right now, and I probably will head down to the strip tomorrow and call out to my friends like a chicken. I'll be like, ha 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 ha, and see if they call back. And I don't know, I'll probably grab lunch or dinner or something with my friends who do happen to be here. I know that they're busy doing DEF CON stuff. There's a bunch of contests and everything going on. So I'll just sort of let them do the partying. I've got, like I mentioned, I've got deadlines coming up. Noodle needs to be ready to go by the 20th of this month. His big travel case that I ordered came in the mail yesterday, which I can show you this. I'm actually kind of excited about it. It's this big yellow box. Yep. Oh god. It's just a pelican case. It's like a giant yellow pelican box. But it's like his gonna be his doing, make sure he gets 2 locations in one piece safety container. And I don't know, I need to make sure that I transfer him, like his essence, from his old body into his new body before I push the kid out the door to go on, I'm gonna call it like his summer camp, I guess, or his exchange program, because he's gonna be away for a while, potentially. He will possibly be touring around to a bunch of different countries, but I don't know which ones for sure and which ones not for sure. But in any case, he needs to be able to be stowed and unstowed and set up without mommy present, because I'm not going to be there in all of these places to get him going. So I have to include some like IKEA style instructions for people in different countries that don't necessarily speak, like, I'm assuming not everyone is going to possibly for sure speak English, so it needs to be kind of apparent how he needs to be oriented and set up and do. So he's got to assume a toaster-like mode. But before he leaves, like I mentioned, one of the critical things that has to happen is I need to transfer his noodle essence from his old, I'm going to call it his baby body, into his new adolescent body. And the adolescent body, like his kid body, is a lot more beefy, it's sexier, his weight is moved downward so he doesn't have such a high center of gravity. Like, he's kind of like a giant pendulum right now, which causes him to want to fall over when he's walking, which is a huge problem. And let's see, he's got two motors in each one of his legs now instead of just the one up at the top, which means that his knee is capable of kicking in and out now, which is something it couldn't do before, and that will potentially help allow him to walk better. It will also complicate things quite a bit, but sometimes that's what you gotta do. I don't know. That's all there is really to say. Everything's just, it's been tightened up, and I did another pass, all in Fusion. This is the first time that Noodle's entire body has been designed in Fusion 360, so the parts are a lot better now that I have access to a better CAD program. So anyhow, to show you what I'm building today, and it's not going to be super exciting. Oh, they're just bones. Where the hell did I put it? Noodle, where did mommy put your leg? Uh-oh. Oh, I did put it away. I think so. Oh, I'm the worst. Cool. What's the stream? Oh, hey everybody. Hi Buttless Bandit, that's a good name. I like it. Hi Tyler. Okay, so let's see. There's this. Where was I? I like completely lost my train of thought. Alright, so this kind of might look familiar if you're familiar with Noodle's form. There's this femur bit right here that chucks into his pelvis. There's these parallel crossbar bits, and as you can see, there's quite a bit more like shit going on down here. There's actually motors mounted in the crossbar of his legs now. I used to have, I don't know where it is. Might be over here. Yeah, it is. Aha. For reference. Okay, there we go. Oh. Someone gif that? Gif what? Oh god, now I gotta look at that. What did I do? Do I do something embarrassing? Probably. Here we go. So, there we go. So this is from a million years ago, like 4 years old now. I think this was the first version of Noodle's leg I ever built. And I'm sorry I can't zoom this out more, but basically there's the foot part, which is of course the noodle foam. There's the parallel crossbars, which are responsible for the bending and swinging motion, doing what it does while keeping the femur and the noodle shin bone relatively parallel to one another. The foot kind of, it points outward just a little bit when it's unfolded, but when it folds up, it swings in nice and parallel to the femur. So parallel, and then kind of swung out, like at an angle, the foot is. So I have a bunch of motors mounted here now on the fibula, which is what I kind of arbitrarily gave this bone, or named this bone. The motor that's responsible for the lifting used to be attached up here, underneath his skull tray, and the motor would rotate and pull on a tendon and make the leg fold up and down. But I moved this motor down here into the kind of like the center of his leg, and it pulls against the femur right here at this point to make the leg go up and down. So all the force is going back and forth this way. and you can see that, well, probably easier to show you on the big camera, huh? That's this guy right here. So as it rotates, the leg can close and open. And then this motor right here makes the foot swing in and out. Ack. Kind of like that. So we've got like a kicking in and out, and then a actuating this with my hand is like the most annoying, horrible thing right now. So we've got a folding and a kicking, basically. Oh no, Buttless Bandit wants to know what Noodle is? Oh man. Noodle is my... I guess he's a 4-year-old now? He's a robot that I've been building for 4 years. I consider him my kid, and he does a bunch of stuff. Walking is supposed to be the most important bit of the doing, and it's the thing that I've had the most trouble with, so he's getting a new body this year to help with the walking endeavor. That's kind of the most important thing to know about him. He's a quadruped, and he has sort of an unconventional form for a quadruped because he's based on my illustrations. So before he was a robot, he was just a drawn character, and my challenge to myself was to see if I could actually make a robotic form that moved like basically like my drawing, if it was at all possible to create something that still could work, but looked like the thing that I had drawn and sketched. And so far, it's been a challenge. Like, he can walk, it just not very gracefully. He's not like a little pony or anything where he can prance around and be free yet. So I'm making him better a little bit at a time, just like any good parent, right? So I have one of these legs built up. I need to make the other 3. They're all going to look roughly like this. And I have a new motor. It's a digital servo motor, which allows me to daisy chain all of them together instead of needing to plug every individual motor into his brain and have them all individually addressed. So that means that the wiring of all these motors up to his brain is going to be a little bit different this time than it's been in the past. But for now, I have a bunch of these bones somewhere on the table. Like, all of my shit is kind of everywhere. Strew. If you've hung out with me over the past couple of days, you know that I've been doing, like, no small amount of crap in this space, so it's just sort of... everything's getting pushed off camera and back, so you can't see it, but starting at about... literally, like, the viewpoint of the camera, as soon as that drops off, there's just, like, a pile of stuff, many layers deep. And a lot of it is 3D printed parts, so I need to find the ones that... are important right now. Hi Mikus! Hi Nikuman! Hi Vi! Just like always win. If you do that, it'll be easy every time, and you win on 100. Haha, nice tips, Vi. Just don't gamble. If you come to Vegas for DEF CON, don't gamble. And Noodle is super excited for Space Camp. Like, I am deciding whether or not I'm going to decorate his big yellow suitcase that I just got. It had to be yellow, because yellow's the safest color. We all know that, right? Buttless Bandit asked what got me interested in crafting things like this. I don't know, I guess the answer I always give to that question is, I was originally an illustrator. I mean, I still am an illustrator. So my background is in drawing and painting and printmaking. And at some point when I was in college, it was suggested to me that I give a shot at actually building the stuff that I draw, since a lot of it was mechanical in nature. A lot of my cartoon characters are robots. And somebody was like, hey, You know, you can actually build that stuff. Like, you don't have to be a proper mechanical engineer to do mechanical engineering. You should give it a try. So I signed up for some fabrication and basic electronics classes, and I loved it so much that I never really looked back, and it's just been a fun challenge to try and, I don't know, to try and build things that don't necessarily have a practical application, because most things that people bother to build solve some sort of problem, or they fulfill a purpose. I like making stuff that just kind of exists for its own sake, so I don't know. It's a lot harder to do that kind of stuff, because generally no one's done it before. But anyhow, where was I? I'm sorry if I'm missing the chat. I see it scrolling by. Noodle, I don't know if he's happy for the new legs yet. He's still kind of not, like, really 100% okay with the fact that, he's getting, or his carapace, let's call it his carapace. His carapace is getting stuffed into a container and shipped far away from mommy for an undefined amount of time. Like, he's kind of freaking out about that, because I have not a lot of comfort to give him about what he'll be doing and who will be taking care of him while he's away. But, again, this isn't him. It's not Noodle Prime, it's his old form. It's a previous form. So, Noodle, if you're afraid, just remember that it's not technically you who is going. It is kind of like your baby teeth that I'm sending away. So it's like if your mom took, like, the hair that they cut off of you after your haircut, or your, I guess, yeah, your baby teeth, and sent those away to be shown at a museum. That's sort of what I'm doing. Or that's the way that I am selling it to myself, so I don't feel like such a bad parent. One of the things I said I'd never do is build 2 noodles at once. Or have 2 versions of Noodle built at the same time, because that creates this really weird thing in my mind where I don't know what is the spiritual embodiment of, like, my kid. And I mean, the answer could very easily just be both. Both are Noodle. He has 2 forms, but I was just going to decommission pieces and sort of tuck them away as I change them out. But since Noodle is technically kind of also an art thing, it makes sense that if he's wanted to be viewed and shown on exhibition, then instead of facing that weird dilemma where I don't want to have 2 of the exact same model, one on display and one, like, that I'm developing with, it makes sense to just always be exhibiting previous forms of him. So this is the first time that I've kind of given in and decided to do it. But it's good. Noodle's analog gets to go and experience some Europe. He's excited about the new legs, I would say, because this is an opportunity for him to learn how to walk better, I think. Oh. Take care, Vi. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you for stopping in and saying hi. I wish you were here still. Hi, Brian. Hi, Dave. Hi, James. Hi, Mr. Fix-It. Mrs. Fix-It. I'm sorry. Mr. Fix-It. Miss Fix-It. I'm sorry. Hi, Terminal Prophet. Hi, everybody. Will Noodle Jr. have a new brain, or will it be a static display? I think everything that Noodle is capable of doing up until this point in time will be going with Noodle to the exhibition. I don't think any of it is going to actually be in use, though, because he has, like, a static kind of demo mode that I put him in for being on display. It's kind of boring. He doesn't really do a whole lot, but if he did anything more, the maintenance level would kind of shoot through the roof, and curators don't really like that, or gallery maintainers don't really like things that have a high maintenance, I don't know, level, which Mark and I have totally done with other projects in the past, and I don't like doing that. And since I'm not going to be there, he's going to be like a toaster. Like, it's going to be plug Noodle in, and he runs at a bare minimum, and that's that. The feet are going with him too. Father is a mechanic. Ooh, they let me to get certified in welding and take an auto body class. It's an interesting concept. I also like that it's done out of love. Yes, I love doing it. I think fabrication is one of the most exciting, like, things to do as a human, in my humble opinion. Nothing gets me out of bed quite like the idea or the knowledge that I'll be putting something together that I've designed. So, I don't know. It's what got me out of bed this morning. Nikuman, will Noodle still be able to teabag? Hi Joshua! Long time no see. Good to be back. I don't know if Noodle will still be able to teabag. I might have to remove that from him, although it is kind of a part of his body now, and I have thoughts about removing parts of him that have kind of already been attached. People will probably think it's really weird that there's a tea bag hanging down from the middle of the robot, and there will be no explanation for it either, because I don't have any documentation in any of my videos that really, like, explains what that's all about. So, I don't know. I might just be a cheeky bastard and leave it there and let people wonder. I mean, what could that possibly be for? I don't know, what are your thoughts? And also, how are you guys doing? It's 3:40 in the afternoon here. How are things where you are at? Is it still hot and sunny? Is it summer-like? Is it, cooling down? Are you building anything? Where are my... tiny nuts. I need tiny nuts. And I need the motors. Where the fuck did I put the motors? I have all these Amazon boxes on the floor. Oh man. The other thing, like, the floor on my side of the lab is just boxes, like, from Amazon. It's just a ton of shit. Except I kind of, like, partition them to one of the sides. One of them hasn't been opened yet, and it has, I bought a 6-pack of these motors, these, Dynamixel motors, which are really nice. They're kind of expensive. They're like about twice as expensive as the ones that are currently in Noodle, coming in at about $40 a piece. If you buy them in bulk, you can get them for $4 cheaper, which adds up if you need like 12 of them like I do. I think this one's it. Did Mark get mine? Ooh, Kentucky. It's always hot and humid there, I bet. 11:40 p.m. here, and ordered a Centabi kit. Nice. Cool. 11:45, prepping PCBs for sale on Tindy. Nice. That is always good idea. I'm very bad at keeping inventory. Winter. Joshua Lloyd. You're either in New Zealand or Australia, right? It's quite cold and I'm sick, but we recently got a 3D printer and 20 arrived this week on a mission to build our first robot. Nice! What kind of robot are you building, Joshua? James. It's 11:42 at night and I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, it's starting to cool down here, and that's because it's a monsoon season. People are saying that the hottest part of summer is behind us already, which it took a really long time to heat up. Like, it wasn't until the very, very last week of July that we even hit max temperature here. And it stayed that way for, I want to say, less than a week, and then monsoon season hit, like, at the beginning of August, and that was it. Like, the temperatures have gone down relatively for here, and that was kind of the peak season. Normally, it's, like, hot, like, really, really hot like that, by, like, the beginning of June. So for most of June and all of July, we get that really hot, agonizing oven weather. We seriously got less than a week of it this year. Not that I'm complaining, but it really sucks for keeping a kiddie pool like we do, because most of the nights we've gotten in it, it's gotten pretty chill pretty fast. Oh my god, Noodle. Noodle, do you want the popcorn? He says he wants the popcorn. Robots. Although I did decide with my bestie today that I am gonna put Noodle's favorite stuffed animal, Fisty, in the pelican case with him, so that when they open it up, he's just sort of tucked in his little, like, I don't know, that foam that's going to be cut in, like, the exact shape of his body, so he can slot into there and not move around. Like, next to him is going to be his stuffed animal. So when they open up the pelican case, there's just going to be, like, eyes and then, like, this green dinosaur. And they'll be like, why? But I think that's part of it, right? There we go, 6 brand new motors. Oh, that's right, they don't come out all nice, like. Oh god. It's like, this is $200 worth of motors right here. And I have to thank all of my patrons on Patreon, because that is how I can afford making big purchases like this. That is my exotic R&D fund, quite literally. Otherwise, I don't know, I'd be saving my money for all the traveling that I do for work, I guess. Wait, I gotta scroll up a little bit because I think I missed some stuff. I bought a switchblade. Yeah. New Zealand, gotcha. That's what I thought. I might be going down there next year, but I'm not sure yet. Stock for my TV store. So I was working during daylight hours. Good. Quadruped or hexapod, more legs is more awesome, but more difficult. Ooh, quadruped or hexapod. Hexapod, I think, I don't know. That's a challenge. Like, if you do a quadruped, in what orientation would you put the legs? Because I know there's like a few different types of quadrupeds that I've seen that have different like leg bendy qualities than Noodle. And it's kind of tricky to find one that has legs similar to Noodle to use as a reference. They're out there, but I've seen like a bunch of different kinds, and they all actually work, which is kind of awesome. It's amazing how many different ways you can build a machine with legs and make it walk or move. Check out the Meeped. I gotta look that up. Noodle having cargo socks, oops, is basically the analog to kids having pockets in their clothes full of little candy and dirt and stuff. Yes, that is definitely what that's going to be. He's going to have like beans and buttons and stuff. And they'll be like, yes. I'm gonna, oh god. Uniped, put a motor and a pogo stick. That's a good idea. Buttless Bandit, I've seen hopping robots, actually. Or one hopping robot that somebody made that's pretty small. There's a video floating around on the internet of it, and it actually, like, hops around and can, like, go pretty fast and keep its balance and not fall over. It's pretty terrifying. Like, I can imagine a swarm of those being fairly intimidating. I know, he's moving from his baby servos to these big chonky ones. He's gonna have, like, Noodle's gonna be thick now. You know, with 2 C's. You can have a hexapod where 4 legs move and 2 are set. Hi, Arviant. Dog or crab layout are the typical layouts. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the ones I've seen have the dog, like the forward swinging legs. The ones with radial symmetry seem to be a little bit more challenging. I might be wrong about that, but it might just seem more challenging to me because that's the hell that I'm stuck in right now. But I've seen people do it. Like, they've built quadrupeds with radial symmetry and they move really well. Noodle's just top heavy and that changes the game entirely. So this is moving all the motors down kind of into, I guess, the lower to mid section of his body. I'm hoping will really alleviate some of the issues I was running into when all of his motors were in his head, basically. Noodle needs a fainting goat. Oh, fainting where he just locks up and falls over. That would be adorable. Me and Mark talked about putting a hemorrhoid pillow around his head so that when he's learning to walk, if he does fall over, he just sort of, like, tips and then doesn't tip very far before, like, the inflatable or the bean-filled hemorrhoid pillow hits the ground. So he's kind of like a buoy that doesn't bounce back up. He just kind of tips over a little bit, goes clink, and then he can, like, his accelerometer will register that he's, like, stuck in a position, and then he'll beep so that one of us can come and, like, pick him up and put him upright again. That's the plan. I'd like to ask an unusual thing. The fact of creation is in itself, and from the time of Plato's Demiurge, a divine one. Do I believe in gods, whatever they are, and why? No, I don't really in gods. I don't believe in gods, I guess. I think that the idea of them as folklore is really interesting to me, but that's me as an art historian speaking. Like, I studied ancient civilization when I was in college quite a bit, and I find all of it really fascinating, and I like stories, but I don't really consider myself to be a very, like, spiritual person. But I do like stories. Like, I love reading about things that people believe in, because I do believe that, I'm going to use the word belief way too much here, and I apologize. I do believe that our beliefs define our reality. If we believe something, it's pretty much real. So whether Noodle is biologically alive or not, if I in some way extend a portion of myself to him, by, like, anthropomorphizing him, in a sense, to me, he is alive. And since I believe that, that's sort of all that matters in my sphere of existence, I guess, if that makes any sense. I don't know if I answered your question or not, but, yeah. The urge to destroy is also a creative urge. I don't really have a destructive tendency, amazingly. Like, I'm not the type of person who likes breaking things. I think when I see people breaking things, I actually get very sad. And 17 kilogram servo shoe. That's, what's the the foot pounds on that? I'm not sure off the top of my head. I'd have to get back to you on that. He will be able to even lift, bro. I know, he will be able to even lift, bro. He'll be able to, like, punch a hole through a wall with his foot. And I do like my noodles big and chunky, too. Like the udon kind. You know, the big fat ones. Those are my favorite noodles. I know he's going, like, it's like, he's going from being a ramen to being a big boy soba. Noodle, you're gonna be the thickest noodle. See, the sad part about this, though, is, he's gonna be getting his, mechanical feet, in addition to these new legs. So, his feet will actually be functional now, which is good, because that was the whole point in the first place. But, they're not gonna be noodles anymore. Like, right now, his feet are passive, they don't do anything. They're just foam like this. There's like a metal core to give it structure, but the outside is literally pool noodle material, thus the name. And he's not going to have those anymore. So, which I also have mixed feelings about. But he's getting, this is just an empty shell. This is a frame of one of the feet. I actually can show you one of the mechanisms. Like, for instance, this is one of them. So this is one of his mechanical feet. This thing grips onto the ground and plants beans into the surface he's standing on. One of my favorites. It's the same form factor as the, or same relative form factor as the pool noodle, but it gives him, it allows him to do stuff, right? It's a behavioral mechanism. It allows him to interact with his environment in some capacity. That's why these motors need to be able to lift, because these do have quite a bit more weight to them than the foam, of course. What I am going to do is I'm creating... Where is it? Sorry. Oh man. I really need to clean up this table. I was supposed to do that this morning when I got up, but you know how that goes. I can just grab another one, I suppose. Alright, hang on 1 second. Where did I put it? Ah. Man, that is annoying. Yeah, I can't find anything right now in here. Okay, so I have this stuff. They're packing envelopes or shipping envelopes that are made out of the exact same material as his feet are, the noodle foam. Except these are like a skin, right? So if I'm gonna have to take scissors and do it. I had one that I already dissected and I don't know what I did with it. It has vanished. Nope. Alright, well, you guys can fill in the blank. So I'm basically going to skin the outside of his mechanical feet with an artificial skin like this, so that they still have the outward appearance of pool noodles, but they'll secretly have functionality to them like this. And yeah, that is the plan. So I'm thinking, I mean, it's kind of a shame to cover up the, these do look pretty nice, but I don't know. I want to keep the noodle aesthetic going long after he's capable of walking and doing stuff to the ground. So these are going with him. If any of you live in Europe, like, I don't know the details yet, but there's the potential for Noodle and his appendages to go to 10 different establishments on display. I don't know for sure which ones, because I don't think they even know for sure which ones. But if you live in Europe and would like to see Noodle, he might be near you soon. You can say hi. I think I'm going to, I don't know. I'm going to send somewhat of a passport with him so that wherever he goes, the people who are in charge of taking care of Noodle for that time have the option of leaving like a memento with him, so that when I do get him back eventually, he'll potentially, if people are down for it, will leave little keepsakes with him, if that makes any sense. So I'm gonna put these back. And by back, I mean just stack them. With all the other things that are here. Alright, I need to get assembling. So the annoying part of this is that these motors are kind of weird. Like, I think you guys are probably familiar with standard servos. They have like those tabs on the top plane of the motor here and the bottom plane of the motor. They stick out and you usually bolt through those onto whatever you're mounting the servo to. These are kind of weird. You actually you put the mounting plate on top of these little tabs here on the side, and then you screw through the mounting plate into these tabs because there's like a capture cavity inside of these tabs for the nut. And it's like a 2mm sized nut, which, to show you how tiny that is, it's that big. It's like stupid small. I don't think it's really ideal. I'm still getting used to it. I'm not even gonna go so far as to say I like it yet. But all of his new body parts are designed to accommodate this new, like, motor style. Oh god, I didn't scroll all the way down. Hang on. Oh man, how much have I missed? Uh-oh. Oh god, I missed. Hang on, I gotta catch up. Ah! Oh man, I'm like way behind on the chat. I apologize. You know how like when you don't scroll all the way down and it just sits there and then it just sort of stacks up waiting for you to bottom out again? Okay. I have this one. Here's where I am in the chat. Kia, I have this open on my phone and my PS4, so it's on my TV and phone so I can actually chat. Gotcha. Oh shit, idea, Noodle, brother, AK, sushi. Noodles wobble but don't fall down. I'm also designing a tall quadruped, but I'm looking forward to the coding. I'm not looking forward to the coding. Yeah. Coding is a nightmare for this type of robot. Bits from the places he visits in his pockets. Yes. James mentioned, and I just mentioned this too, Noodle should collect things from the places he visits. That's kind of my goal, is to make sure he comes home with, like, trinkets. They can be his prizes. No gods, no masters. Norse and ancient Egypt have the best gods, hands down. I agree. Yeah, I studied a lot of, like, ancient civilizations and art history, like, back when I was in college. And I loved it. Like, I elected to take a lot of ancient Roman art history and Greek. Knock the code could be simple if you needed it. Norse mythology is what I... The best god of them all is the flying spaghetti monster, though. I agree. Noodle totally agrees. That's being used to control the OpenCM boards or something else. Mark designed a custom board to control these. I don't know a lot about it, but he'll be home. Oh god, I didn't plug my laptop in again. Shit. Hold that thought. Knew I forgot something. Ah, there we go. Oh man. Mark will be home now. He just got off work at 4, which it's 4 my time. He'll be home shortly, like within the next 15 minutes or so, and then I'll ask him about the controller board. I know you need like a fancy custom one to control these motors, so he just sort of made a driver controller thing for them, which is gonna get moved onto Noodle's new brain when I end up getting around to laying it out. Yeah, like my plush toy collection shares the energy I devote to them. Yes, I agree. Miss Fix-It. Yeah, yeah, like I talked about this somewhere about it kind of goes parallel with like the Shinto kind of philosophy where all objects are a potential vessel for a spirit to live in or reside within. And I guess like the whole thing with anthropomorphization is that we're giving a piece of ourself to that thing. It's not that it necessarily has its own spirit, but it has a piece of our spirit within it, so it's like an extension of ourselves. And I kind of view things in the world as being alive in that sense. So something that someone I know creates is alive to me because it has a part of that person inside of them to me. And that's sort of how I don't know, how it feels to me. Or how it has meaning to me, I guess. But yeah, Noodle definitely, he's an extension of his mommy. If your quadruped is tall, get that center of gravity. Yeah, that's what it's good advice for everybody. I suspect Noodle might be able to jump with those servos. I hope so. I was kind of hoping that he would have a little bit of a bounce to his step because of the springs that are on his heels, but it didn't work out that way at all. Beanfoot. Noodle feet. I know he couldn't swim. I have water wings for him too. Reverse Beanfoot that lets Noodle pick up small things and then feeds them into the pockets. I actually do have a foot that does that. Not into the pockets yet. We've talked about having like individual storage cavities inside of the foot for the things he picks up, but I do have a foot for Noodle that I've made that picks things up off the ground. It's like a reverse throat. Let me grab it. There we go. So there's 2 conveyor belts that rotate against one another, and there's like stretchy, fluffy silicone cilia on the belts of the conveyor. On the belts of the conveyor belts. On the conveyor belts, there is cilia that helps scoop objects up and hold on to them as they kind of travel up in between those 2 bodies. And as they rotate inwards against one another, they carry the object up to this chamber right here, and inside of this chamber there is a camera facing downwards that's attached to I unplugged the cable, but there's a Pi Zero right here, and it's Wi-Fi enabled, so he would tweet pictures of the things that he swallowed to his Twitter account. This thing didn't work terribly well for a lot of different reasons, but it's one of the things I'm working on this summer that I would like to improve and actually get working. But this was his collection appendage. And yes, bean is love. I totally agree. Noodle loves the beans. Something fun. That is a spring latch mechanism. To make it a system. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up so that I'm current on the chat. Faux noodles. Oh wow, I'm super behind. Oh. They're a much higher torque server. He'll get socks soon too, so they'll get covered at that point too. True, you're correct. Denmark. I want to go to Denmark. And they are really tiny nuts. Chef Mark, aka Gargamel. It's funny that you called him Gargamel the other day because, like, we call him that. Or he has called himself that because he likes those Smurf movies and whatever. So it's kind of a funny coincidence. Cthulhu. Brain Daddy. Fleshlight. It is kind of a strange variant of Fleshlight. Noodle's nickname at the Blue Man Theater is the Fleshlight Crab. For some reason, I don't even want to know. I do know. I don't want to repeat it, but that's his nickname because of Mark amongst him and his friends that he works with. And yes, Noodle does want to go to space. He is basically a walking Mars rover. He's an adolescent space probe that wants to go to Mars one day and taste all of the rocks. That's literally like what he is about. I developed all of these appendages at ESA 2 years ago. So I had an artist residency at the European Space Agency's technical facility in the Netherlands, ESTEC. And I went there and I talked to all of their, I guess, their science professionals and their engineers, and I got a bunch of inspiration from them regarding, I don't know, where to direct my focus while developing these. And Noodle got to come along with me and meet a bunch of the, I guess, the real big kid robots there. He got to play with one of their test rovers, the Test ExoMars machines, which is kind of exciting because now that I think about it, Mars 2020 and ExoMars are getting ready to launch, aren't they? Like in less than a year, right? I don't know. I don't know if that's still on schedule or not. I was pushing nuts and things, wasn't I? I forgot what I was doing. Am I caught up with chat? Yes. Okay. Noodle is going to get funded by NASA someday. I wish. But yeah, no, the artist residency was great. That was an awesome experience. Like, I need to find a way to touch base with everyone that I met there again. Where was I? Oh yeah, pushing those nuts. Alright. I have a video going up later today that is basically about one of the feet that I made. Like, I talk and work at the same time, Sarah. One of the things that I didn't do after my residency is document all of the things that I created. The way that it worked out is I had about 2 months to create working or semi-working proof of concepts to bring with me to the facility to kind of like use as points of discussion with all the people that I would meet there. And I brought my proofs of concept with me, had my residency, and then I came back and I had another 2 months to make a second revision of each of those feet, and then exhibit them at the Ars Electronica Festival at the end of the summer. And I worked so hard on these things, and I got each one of them about 50% working, and then I displayed them as they were, and then I was so burnt out that they literally just got shelved, and I never did any video about them. I never documented anything about them. I never published anything. Like, they just literally kind of got put on the back burner, and I went back to development on Noodle, like the primary entity that is Noodle. And I'm finally only just now getting around to discussing matters of tasting feet again and taking another stab at getting them working, because as I mentioned, they're only 50% like solid. There's some critical thing to each one of them that was just like totally fucked, and I need to readdress the parts that didn't work and kind of give them each a fresh approach. But the videos are done. I just need to push them out every week. One of them is going out later today. It's about the litmus foot. It's like the only foot that actually does something that's actually legitimately like tasting. And I have this cool bumper that I made for the beginning. All of the tasting feet videos have tasting channel intros, which are like parodies of stuff. And I really like this one. Noodle's Shape Daddy was the voice of my parody of HAL 9000, and he did an excellent job, I think. It came together really nicely. I put Noodle in this, Mark has half of a Mini Cooper frame in his backyard. For real. Like, our backyard literally looks like the apocalypse. So there's this, like, car that's turned up on its side, so like the front of the car is sticking straight up in the air, and it's just the frame, so it kind of already looks sort of like a spaceship, kind of, or I don't know, spaceship-esque. And it was the perfect thing to stick Noodle inside of for this shot, for the intro of this video that I'm pushing up later on today. And then he happened to inherit this projection, like an old projector, not a projector, it's a projector. It's like an older projector that I think they actually used in movie theaters at some point in time. So I used that to project shapes onto Noodle's face. Because in 2001 A Space Odyssey, which is the thing that I was parodying for this, there's that famous shot of the main character where he's in the smaller space shuttle, and he has like the shapes and the colors kind of projected on his face while he's talking to Hal. And I kind of reshot that sequence, scene per scene. And we happened to make use of this projector that Mark's had for a while now for the first time. And it worked out really great. Once it started getting a little bit darker outside, the colors were really vibrant, and I got some really nice footage. July 2020, if the schedule holds for both. Awesome. I'm excited for that. I think ExoMars is like Noodle's first robot friend. They had a play date or the test rover for ExoMars and Noodle had a play date while he was there, and it was like probably one of the coolest moments as a parent that I've ever had in my life. Yeah, need to get my patrons to raise 20k. He needs a X-ray spectrum analyzer. I agree. Send Noodle to space. I need to do a Kickstarter for that. True story, like the year that I built Noodle, to raise money to make him, I actually created a Kickstarter campaign called Give Mars Crabs. And I created the page and I did all of the planning for the campaign, and then I just never did it because I ended up getting, I don't know, held up with something. Something happened, and then I was just busy for the rest of forever. It feels like the last 3 years of my life have just gone by super fast because I've been busy. It's the thing that sucks about being busy. Oh, there I go, not doing stuff on camera again. And of course these nuts don't just sort of slide into place on their own. You have to kind of use a utensil and force them in. I mean, I guess that's good, like, you know they're not gonna fall out, but it's kind of annoying too, because a whole half an hour is devoted to pushing nuts in cavities. Heh. Noodle would fit as a cave explorer. Oh, would need a lot of radiation shielding. And could navigate easily around the terrain with his noodles. Yeah, he needs to be able to walk well enough that I can just let him practice in the backyard. Because the desert here in Vegas is very Mars-like in a lot of areas, so it'd be perfect to take him out to like Death Valley National Park and just let him scoot around and get a lay of the land, if you will. Oh, yeah, I only use 4 on each side. Instead of the full 8 per side, because it is kind of excessive. My noodle shape daddy did remind me that I'm not obliged to fill every single nut hole, so I'm trying not to. I should do a backyard tour? Oh man, I could. One of these days. I think if we do set up our drive-in out back, I will definitely do a tour of it this fall. I think kiddie pool season is going to transform into, I guess, spooky movie night. We watched this scary movie critic called Joe Bob Briggs. He has a stream special on Fridays called The Last Drive-In, and one of the things we decided to do is actually use our projection screen to create a drive-in, like a real drive-in in Mark's backyard, because there's enough room back there for at least like 3 or 4 cars to go and park and watch. So we were gonna do that once it's not stupid hot outside and the new season starts up, which we aren't really quite sure when that's going to happen yet. How many servos per leg does Noodle have in this design? I believe 2. I mean, he has 3 per leg total, but one of them is in his pelvis. And the pelvis is already assembled. And then there are 2 in the lower part of his leg now. So 3 motors total, 3 different ranges of motion per leg. Because the 2 wasn't good enough. Oh god. One of my friends who I met at ESA, actually, who was a roboticist, he confirmed, kind of in his own way, that in Noodle's current form, he's not capable of walking well. Because he does move, he can move forward, but I don't think he's ever going to be able to be very agile as he is, and I kind of already knew that. I suspected as much. But ever since he kind of, you know, gave me the bad blessing of, yeah, he's not gonna happen, I felt a lot better about pursuing a completely new leg design. It's just taken me a lot longer to get all of this together. Like, something always comes up. Like, I always think I'm going to have free time to focus on, like, a specific project, and then something comes and I'm, like, funneling my energy someplace else. My one goal for this year was to get Noodle walking. Like, well, that was it. And coincidentally, it's the one thing that I'm super behind on. How many servos per leg? Oh, pushing. Wait, what? You spent more than a half an hour pushing... Oh, yeah, pushing nuts in holes with an FM transmitter audio. Wait, what? Oh, with an FM transmitter for audio? For what? Wait, what did I miss? Yeah, the two servos per leg is pretty restrictive, Kia. Like, it's... I don't know, you can do stuff with just 2, but it's weird. Not weird, it's restrictive. Alright. I have to dig out the tiny hardware. See, the annoying thing about these motors is if you buy them in bulk from any of those places online that have them in 6-pack, they don't send them with the wire harnesses or the hardware, so you have to source that shit from someplace else, which is really kind of annoying. I mean, it's nothing for me to go down to our local hardware store and get the tiny hardware, but come on. It's like they went out of their way not to include it. If you buy them individually, they of course come with the appropriate harness and some nuts and screws. Yeah. Let's see. Oh god. I'm just stabbing these motors like a crazy woman. Noodle. I'll like wrap him in his blanket too. They're gonna get this robot wrapped in a blanket with a stuffed animal, and they're gonna be like, what the shit is this? True story, when Noodle was being exhibited and I was exhibiting him in Tokyo last year when I was there for a summit. And I changed his socks. It was only like a 2-day exhibition, but like on the second day, I think, or the first day, I don't know. I came in the morning one morning and I changed his socks. I think I might have done it twice, I don't remember, because I kept going out shopping and finding these really cute Japanese socks that had the egg character on them. That, like, the egg yolk character. I don't remember what it's called. But, I kept buying him socks in Japan, because of course you would do that. And I had to, like, change them out every day, so he had, like, a fresh pair of new socks while he was on display. And it was very important. I was like, I have to get there early enough that I can do this. I had the intent of doing the same thing at ours last year, but I just couldn't get up early. It's really hard to get up early when I'm there. I got him a pair of Lederhosen socks 2 years ago when I was in Austria, and he's yet to wear them, but they're really cute. They have like little Lederhosen print on the front of each one, so he might get to wear those this year. I haven't decided yet, but I try to get him socks everywhere he goes. Socks that are like descriptive of, I don't know, they're like souvenir socks, right? They like hallmark a place he's been to. So he has like a bunch of like chibi anime, like Tokyo type socks. I got him socks from Comic-Con that have like cartoon dinosaurs on them. I don't know, he's got a lot of socks. When we went to like the place in the middle of the desert that has all the alien stuff, like the Area 51 shit, I got him alien socks earlier this year. He's got all the cool socks. And then my mom gets him socks every time she comes to visit. She'll bring him like cute pairs of new socks. Oh, he has pot socks from Amsterdam, from when he was at ISA. He has NASA socks. He does not have ISA socks. Like, I keep, like, bugging everyone that I know there that they need to have ISA socks made so that he can wear them. Because right now, one of his default socks are, like, they're NASA socks. They have the NASA logo on them. But if I had ISA ones, those are the ones he'd have on. Because Noodle's kind of an ISA baby. It's an ISA beat boo. Alright, now to get the other tiny hardware, which is... That's a good question. It is somewhere. It's in a tiny baggie, mixed in amongst all of these other tiny baggies that are on my desk bench. Aha! Here they are. Oh, that's right. I needed a stupid tool to do this. I don't have a the correct Allen wrench key thing size with the handle, so I'm stuck using one of these annoying things. Damn, I was supposed to fix that before I got to this point, and I did not. Okay. So they are assembled away from one another as such. Oh, and I did it. Bad, Sarah. Oh, damn it. I put these in the wrongs. No, I can't get them out. Ugh, I hate everything. Okay. I have to put more nuts in holes. That's okay. Because we've got lots of them. Why did I not remember that? Ugh. I'm gonna be putting nuts in holes all day. Mark's gonna come home and be like, what have you been up to all day? He'll be like, putting nuts in holes. Forever. Damn it. Oh well. So the other thing that we are working on tonight, after I'm done putting legs together, is we're supposed to work on that air pressure sensor for the Shibon augment. So he's going to help me get it calibrated so that it controls the LEDs of that choker that I put together yesterday. I can just do these one at a time. The goal was that I was going to wear this to DEF CON one of the days that one of the days that DEF CON is going on, just for the sake of giving it a dry run in public before I end up packing it up and taking it with me to Austria, but I don't know, like it's not ready yet. Still. Okay. So these, alas, will happen one at a time. And that is okay. Noodle. He says he wants cable and a mini fridge in his tour van so that he is traveling in comfort. True story, when they shipped him, like when I shipped him home from Isa, the shipping company entered the the shipping account information incorrectly, and the number that they typed in had a different address associated to it, and it was a company in Rome, New York. So Noodle was actually en route to Rome, New York until I think my dad caught it. He saw on the information that he was scheduled to go to a place he was not supposed to. But that was a very butt-clenchy week. It was the week after I got back from my residency. I was waiting for my kid to get back, and I was like hyperventilating. I think that was like the first year that we started doing kiddie pool stuff in the summer. Walk gate. That's right, I get to do all the fun software stuff after this. Yay. So I think after I get back from ours in September, I can start focusing on actual new Noodle body stuff, because, I mean, hypothetically, his new body will be done by the time I send him away to leave. So it'll be there waiting for me when I get back. So Noodle Prime, I don't know, which one would be Noodle Prime? Would it be the old body or the new one? Am I losing it? Yes, Sarah, you are losing it. Do I have a kinematic model for Noodle? I do not. I just have the Fusion 360 thing rigged up. He's rigged up for bendy motion in Fusion, and that's it. I don't have any kinematic mathy stuff set up for him. A cup noodle? There's a cup noodle online store, really? I would. If I had one, I would definitely do that, Kia. I don't think I do anywhere. I'm sure there's one somewhere in this lab, I don't know where it's at, and it's Mark's. I need to quit stealing his tools. Like, all of his stuff is slowly getting, like, certain types of things are slowly just getting, like, relocated to my side of the lab because I use them more. Like, I use his tools way more often than he uses my art shit. He doesn't need my art shit. And I need to get my hair cut before I leave. That's another thing. I always put that stuff off until there's no time left. And I really don't want to be like Shaggy Sarah when I'm at the Ars Festival. Oh, that's not the right thing. I'm like, why is it not going? Derp. Yeah, because it's this shitty little key. God, I hate this. Ugh. Not recommended. Disembodied drill trucks are surprisingly handy things. Yes. They have top ramen socks? Are you shitting me, Nikuman? I need to look that up. Noodle needs top ramen socks. Oh. Yeah, I totally did put the... Why are you not catching... Yeah, that is annoying. I'm trying not to put these tasks off because I know that it will bite me in the butt if I do. I can't tell if it's going in or not. Haha, that's what she said. Currently Noodle is the only available. Wait, currently Noodle is only available to conduct bris? Yeah? Yokohama Cup Noodle Museum. Oh, that's definitely on my next, like, travel list. Yokohama Cup Noodle Museum. Hell yes. Oh man, I could go for, like, ramen. Like, Japanese ramen. We have a really good noodle place here in town, and that sounds really good right now. In spite of it being, like, 1,000 degrees outside. Is Noodle available for birthday parties, marriages, and other events? Ha! Noodle wants to be an official at the marriage. He only beeps, though. I like that. Noodle's only available to conduct bris. That would be terrifying. Noodle said, what's a bris? Ha. Wait, if she said that it would be soul crushing? Wait, what? No, I need to get those socks, Nikuman. Those need to be a thing that Noodle has. And they're gonna go with him. Like, I'm really kind of... I don't know. I don't think curators at galleries would go so far as to change out Noodle's socks. Which is unfortunate, because it would be really awesome if they did. Did I print out the spacers? Because technically, like, they'll do whatever you ask them to if it's part of the exhibition in some capacity, but, like, I don't want to be that person that's like, yeah, every week you have to change my robot's socks, because it's really not an easy thing to do. Like, the tips of his feet are made of silicone, and that's really difficult to yank fabric across, like, at the tip of the foot, so it fights you every bit of the way. Plus, it's like trying to put socks on, like, a young goat baby. Like, Noodle doesn't really hold still. His legs want to bend and twist and actuate in all these different ways if he's not powered. So it's literally like trying to put socks on a toddler that doesn't want to hold still. Like, I get that. So I wouldn't make anyone do that. That's like a mommy thing. I'll do it as Noodle's mother, but I don't expect anyone to take on that chore. Come on. This is really annoying. I hate this part. The necessary, like, assembly of the motor bits onto the Mountie-Doos. I don't know why. I'm gonna leave that as it is. It doesn't want to go in, so I'm not gonna force it. That's a good idea, Kia. Have you, like, dressed many toddlers before? Sorry, my time delay ruins everything. I hate it. I'm trying to keep up. I'm, like, in a different plane of time-space existence. I was going to say added. Like, there's a significant danger of someone starting and not being able to... Ha! Build a companion robot that changes Noodle's socks. If I could make a sock-changing robot, that would be an exhibit in and of itself, is the robot that requires socks and its companion robot that changes its socks. How come some of these are going in so easily and others are not? It's like the most annoying task. Oh, is that Mark? We might have a wild Mark. Oh god, I'm starving. I really need to remember to eat during the day. Oh, yeah. We have a mark. He's gonna love me. I get immediately on his case. Ah! 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 Ah, so you've put a sock on a dog. That seems like it would be harder than putting a sock on a toddler, to be honest. And I do need to fuel the meat. I'm like starving. Oh god. Ah! Put the nut in matters. Have the collective power to send a robot to Mars, but not the bill. Do you think we could build a robot that puts socks on Noodle?
Like an automatic socker?
Like a sock...
Sockbot?
Like a sock changing robot.
A sock minion for Noodle?
Well, the tricky part is it would have to take the sock off that Noodle is currently wearing. And also, Nikumen found that the Cup Ramen soup store has Cup Ramen socks. Like the ramen cup.
Where's the ramen soup store at, though?
On the internet.
Oh, the internet. Online search.
I have to get them.
You get those?
Yeah. He needs them
Right.
for,
Toes.
yeah, for ours.
You could have a system where it puts the socks on his feet by blowing high velocity air into the sock and inflates the sock, right? And then he sets this foot down and then the air turns off and it goes. And then the same in reverse. You just blow the socks off when you're done.
I don't think that.
Little nozzles that get under the skin of the sock.
I don't think that would work.
I think that would be awesome. Or you roll them off. You have rollers that just like.
I'm thinking,
and it
yeah.
turns into a condom, and then you could put those in little packets, like sealed packets, that you could have.
Like a sock roller makes sense. Socks. So it would basically be like a condom applicator robot.
You can apply that to other things.
Uh-huh. In case of being... Wish they came on broomsticks. I don't know. I think Noodle definitely needs like a sock changing buddy that comes with him.
Yeah.
It's like a de-sheather. It's a
It's
a de-sheather and re-sheather. Does that inspire nightmares, everybody? A de-sheathing robot? Or a de-gloving. It's a de-gloving. It's a de-gloving bot. Noodle, that is not how you make friends. A mega long sock. And then it rolls and unrolls them to different locations. Like a sock conveyor belt? An infinite sock conveyor belt. De-sheather made me wince. All the guys are like, oh god, Sarah can't make that. Don't let her make a de-sheathing robot. Mark, do you think I could make a de-gloving robot?
Yes. I think that would be an enjoyable process.
Noodle's de-gloving buddy? They can go travel the world together?
Yeah.
With Fisty? Yeah, I know that the nuts have to slide in like a specific orientation, but like even when it looks like they are, they're actually apparently not. In any case, they're being very difficult and I don't like it. I'm not a fan. Shenanigans. Noodle needs a sock buddy. Noodle, would you rather have a mini fridge in your tour van or a sock buddy? Mark, what do you think?
Wait, what?
Would he rather have cable and a mini fridge or a sock buddy?
A sock buddy.
Yeah. Noodle.
Like a little sock capsule, like extra socks.
They're gonna like open the case.
Like, what the hell?
There's just like a bunch of socks and then like a green stuffed dinosaur. They're gonna be like, what the fuck? One of the places on the list that he might go to is somewhere in Delft, which I got to go to. So I've been to Delft. It was a rainy day, but I got to go and talk to some engineering students there. They were electronics engineers making really cool stuff, which was exciting. I wish we had stuff like that in Vegas. I went to a very good high school, so I cannot complain. I lucked out. I went to Hogwarts. If Hogwarts were an art school, that is where I went for high school. Because back then, when I was a teenager, Las Vegas had one of like that high school was one of the top 10 in the nation. It was like a blue ribbon school or some shit. It was very highly acclaimed back then. I don't know how it's doing these days, but it was back when like magnet schools first became a thing. If you wanted to go and escape a dismal fate at your home school, you usually would apply for a magnet school to be around other like-minded individuals, which is what I did. Not that my fate would have been dismal. I don't know that it would have been, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I probably had a lot less in common with the people at my home school than at the art school. So I spent my days painting and learning how to draw. And I'm very glad that I did. So the thing I want to get for myself, if I have enough money at the end of the summer to do so, is a iPad, because Photoshop, or Adobe, released a Photoshop app for iOS, and you can apparently buy the pencil and use that thing as a proper like Cintiq tablet. And I really, really, really want one of those, because the tablet that I used to draw on my computer is like 12 years old now. And it still works, but it's not the best. It's not one of the ones where you're drawing on the screen. You're drawing on like the black tablet and looking at the screen. It gives my hand-eye coordination a run for its money. And I like drawing. I don't want to hate drawing. Ooh, robot dance software sounds cool. Your art teacher told you not to take art any further academically. It's funny, our mentor, Treat, she kind of told us the same thing. Hi, Aussie Welsh. Aw. It's good to see you too. Well, it is good to know that you are here. Yeah. But, no, we were advised not to go to an art school for college, which, I ended up going to 3 different ones. Which I don't regret either, because I wouldn't have gotten into doing engineering if I hadn't gone to art school. It seemed like it was very unlikely that my path was going to intersect with actual, like, mechanical engineering. I went to SAIC in Chicago, which is the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. Very good school. They have a art tech department there, which I didn't know they had until I got there. And they teach fabrication for motion and robotics there. So I went from printmaking one semester to the following semester, dropping all of my printmaking classes and signing up for a bunch of shit that I didn't know anything about, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. One of the best. Oh god, there we go. I was gonna say something else after that and I forgot. Oh, there's no prerequisites at that school. So, you literally can take whatever classes you want. It's just up to you to pass them. So I took effectively what was a grad level class, which was their robotics class, without any prior knowledge going into it regarding electronics or how to use anything in a machine shop. And it was fine. And I loved it. And everything I did every single day was new, and I was doing it for the first time. And it was fucking awesome. And I love that school because they let you do that. They don't put any, like, I don't know. They don't hold you back from doing anything you want to in any way. But if you do want to do something that isn't advised, it's your responsibility to make it work. So for me, it was just, I had a lot of, like, things to learn and, like, mash into my head and grok in a short period of time. But it wasn't impossible, and I did it. And they kind of, like, they're helping you. They're, like, their job is to help you get to the point you want to get to, right? And then help you succeed at building what you want to make. So everybody in the class was making something completely different. So at the beginning of the semester, you would write a proposal for something that you wanted to create, and it had to fit into the scope of the class and demonstrate all the things that you were supposed to learn in the, I guess, the course of that semester. And so long as you got your proposal approved, it was the responsibility of the professor to basically teach 15 different students how to make 15 different things during the period of the semester, which was really daunting and kind of amazing that they were able to do it. But most of the higher level classes were that same format. So you weren't just building arbitrary crap for the sake of getting practice in, you were actually building something that you wanted to make, that you're basically learning skills by making something that you wanted to create, that was your idea. And that is what made that school fantastic. Friday 10 wow, Friday 10 a.m. in Australia. And work often get in the way. Yeah. Aw. Oh, see, Kia, my art teacher in high school suggested we not go to art school because, well, for one, it's very expensive. And for two, you don't really need to go to art school to be an artist. I think people go to art school to be exposed to things, I guess, but you don't technically need, like, an art degree to be a successful artist. Like, you need a degree and some level of, like, demonstrated understanding to be a doctor, for instance. You just kind of, I think you go to an art school to collect exposure. and experiences, and to meet people who can point you in the direction of things, because when you're that age, you don't really know what's out there. Just like the $1 million advice that I got from somebody in the printmaking department was to explore mechanical design. Otherwise, I wouldn't know any of the people in my life today, and I probably wouldn't be sitting here streaming, assembling robot legs. Or if I did go down that path, it would have taken significantly longer for me to figure it out, I think. But yeah, and just that one class, like, that put an Arduino in my hands for the first time. I learned how to use a lathe, a mill, I learned how to solder, I learned how to make an H-bridge, I learned how to use motors, hook up motors to control or use sensors to control motors and LEDs and other shit. Good class. It was intimidating as hell for like a complete noob coming from like the printmaking department, but I loved it. And it was fucking cold there. I could never live in Chicago. What? It's a really great way to learn skills. Oh god. 9:30 a.m. Good morning, guys. It's like 5, it's actually 5:05 here. It's like definitely time for a cocktail. 1 a.m. for you, Kia. Got a whole gamut. Damn. It's 1 a.m. for Kia. Eleanor says it's 9 a.m. for her. That's fucking nuts. And it's like afternoon going into evening here. Crazy. Being on a sphere. All being part of the same globe. Crazy shit. Oh, that's not even a hole. Ha! I'm like screwing that in between two of the holes. Yeah. Wow, it's actually in there too. I made a hole where there was not. Mark. Noodle wants a bris foot.
Bris foot?
Yeah.
What's he brissing?
Tips.
Tips of what?
Sausages.
Does he know the difference between sausage and other items that may be inserted into the machine?
He's a baby. He says he's going to use TensorFlow to recognize sausages.
That's a big database of photos.
Noodle says he'll reference Pornhub and other banks of information.
All the volunteers he needs if he just asks for it.
What? Noodle, I need dick
Just have an
pics.
automated address to send dick pics to, and then
You can tweet dick pics at Noodle. That'd be horrible. Noodle.
DP.
Noodle. At Noodle DP?
Yeah.
No.
And then you can sell the company for like $5 million. It's like the world's biggest database and just dick pics.
Yeah.
Some researcher somewhere will find that valuable.
You can have drones that can locate people
Exactly.
based on like images of their junk
The police would use it
for identifying.
Yep, they're like, you're the guy!
That's a terrifying thought.
Why did you rob that bank with your pants down?
Horrible idea. I mean, if I was gonna do it, I'd definitely do it with my pants down, Mark. You
I've
just
done lots of things with my pants down, and let me tell you,
I mean,
it's freeing.
think about it. It would distract the shit out of everybody. Right?
I think that was it. The Viking women used to go bare-chested in battle to distract their enemies.
I mean, works.
Yep.
I mean, if I ever had to go into actual battle, I would probably do it naked.
You could streak while the archers unleash the arrows.
Alright. Sorry this is so boring. Assembly sucks. In my head, all this stuff takes like 2 seconds. I'm like, oh yeah, I just have to put it together. The hard part's done, right? You know, the designing and printing of this stuff? No. Like, this always ends up taking, like, just as long, if not longer, than, like, the hours I spend sitting in front of the computer doing CAD shit or waiting for the printer to vomit spooge into the shape of what I want. Oh god. Almost halfway done. The rest should go significantly faster, because it doesn't involve putting tiny nuts into tabs. Tiny nuts. The tiniest of nuts. More tiny nuts. Mark, what do you want to eat for dinner?
After you said tiny nuts?
Yeah.
I don't know. I gotta put things in my fridge.
What did you get?
I got 2 things of Bloody Mary mix.
Fuck yeah.
I got you 5 months supply of earplugs.
Yay.
Because they were closeout. They don't make the pink ones anymore, apparently.
No.
So they were like literally $2 a box instead of $6 a box. So I bought
all of them?
A bunch of boxes. Yeah, if I see them more next week, I'll buy more. But
my nipples.
I bought a horseradish root.
Oh, are you gonna put it in the Bloody Mary?
Yeah, I'm gonna grind that into a Bloody Mary. I bought pickles. I bought a bunch of stuff to support my habit, like not much else. And some salsa. So whatever you want for dinner, you need to like figure out. We got mac and cheese.
We should put some bacon in the mac and cheese. And yes, James, you're totally right. Like an hour ago, I was like, fabrication is the best part of the day, and now I'm like, fuck fabrication. You're correct. And I have both opinions still. I cling to both. Yeah, I was like, an hour ago, I'm like, I wake up every morning and I'm excited because I get to put something together that I designed. This is true. That is what gets me out of bed every morning. And then an hour into it, I'm always like, why the fuck did I design it this way? I can't get that nut in that position without distorting my pinky into like an arc to like hold it there. And if I don't for like a second, it will fall onto the ground and be lost in the carpet forever. And I'll have to get another and repeat the whole process again a million times. I hate assembly and both. I think that's allowed. But it still gets me out of bed every morning. Made from spooge, officially. He is officially made of spooge. He's made of plastic spooge. Very precise spooging. Precision spooge. Noodle is made of precision spooge. Noodle. He says that's not true. He says Shape Daddy helps Mommy make aluminum pieces for him that are made out of aluminums. And they're strong. So he's not all spooge. He's only partially spooge some of the time.
Part of the Illuminati.
He's the Illuminum. The Illuminami?
Yeah, it's a secret society of Illuminati.
Illuminami. So Noodle, wait. What was dinner yesterday? What will it be today? What did we eat? We ate macaroni and cheese yesterday. Yeah, we had
a pound of Velveeta left. So.
Mark literally drowned us in like artificial cheese. And I scarfed it down like a monster. So we have that left over. And then I had way too many micheladas. It was enough to make me sleepy, so that was probably too many. Oh god, you need to not miss the hole, Sarah. Okay, I was missing the hole. I have to catch myself. Tonight, I don't know what we're gonna have tonight. What are we having tonight, Mark? What did you say you got?
Know.
You said earplugs. Are we eating earplugs?
That's what I bought at the store, but I didn't buy food because I didn't know what you wanted. So, like, what meat would you eat?
Steak.
You want steak?
Do you want to have chicken?
I can thaw chicken. Chicken with some mac and cheese on the side. You just grill the chicken, maybe?
You can grill the chicken and throw it in the mac and cheese.
Oh, chop it up?
Yeah, chicken.
That's a good idea.
Chicken, mac and cheese.
Chicken, mac and cheese?
Chicken.
Alright.
That's like, yeah, that's very low tech for us. We're making crazy exotic stuff. You should make banana bread out of those bananas tonight.
Oh yeah, I gotta make another batch of that.
There's still a loaf in their fridge. Do you think it's still good?
Yeah, because I moved it to the fridge rather than let it sit for a week, so it should be fine in the fridge.
Do you want to make French toast?
Tonight?
Yeah.
I might make that tomorrow, I don't know.
Out of the banana bread?
Yeah.
Are you going to feed that to Matt tomorrow?
I'll make more banana bread.
Okay.
It'll have overnight to kind of whatever it does overnight, and then we'll have a plenty, and then we'll make some deep fried banana bread bricks with maple syrup.
James, you're welcome for the steak dreams. 1 a.m. is the worst time to crave steak, I would have to say. If anyone talks about steak at any point in time, I'm like craving steak. I don't know. Like, one of your chicken Caesar salads sounds really good too, but I know we have like a metric boatload of like mac and cheese. Do you like my yellow box?
Yeah, it's great.
I showed everybody the box. Noodle's travel coffin. God. Noodle says he's art. He's gonna grow up with a complex. I don't know, everything sounds good right now. I kind of want to stop and make a michelada real quick since it's 5. After I'm done with the motor part, I might run and make one real quick. I won't stop the stream. I'm kind of determined to like actually build up the legs. Although it occurs to me now that I might not have a certain spacer that I need to do that. I think the printer's actually running right now. Really? Beef. Trying to find... Ooh, honey lemon tea sounds really good. I'm like, ugh, I could have tea instead of beer. I'm always rather partial to my 5 o'clock cocktail. I think my problem yesterday was I think my first beer was at like 1:30 or something. It was like very early in the day. I was like, I'm going to have a michelada. Oh god. Ner. All these deadlines are approaching swiftly. Stress. Noodle says he just wants to get into space. He says that he's going to sneak out every night while he's in Europe and try and find the truck that takes him to the launch pad. Yeah? Mark?
What?
He's gonna try and find the launch pad truck.
Where?
It's in South America, but he's gonna get there somewhere, somehow. I think they launch from South America somewhere. Noodle says he's going to try and get to South America.
What are you talking about?
when he's on tour. He says he's going to
What's in South America?
the launch pad.
For what?
ExoMars for space.
I didn't hear all of that.
Oh.
I didn't hear a single thing you said. I'm not watching your screen. I'm doing Mark things.
You're
right
sitting next to me.
No, I'm reading. I'm trying to read an article, and you're talking, and my brain is not listening to you.
Sorry. I'm just spouting a bunch of nonsense. Don't mind me.
I'm in the room, but I'm not actually listening.
You're not. You're in the room, but you're not in the room.
Yes.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Wait, what? Did you twist the motors beforehand? Otherwise, one of them may be broken, like it happened with the LEDs. Wait, what?
What?
Oh no, I don't know what you're referencing, and now I'm scared. Yeah, it has something to do with why did they launch from South America again?
Because you're closer to the equator.
Equator, that's right. Okay.
You get the best velocity when you're finally in space. And
It has to do with the donut sphere that we all live on. They launch from close to the equator. So they have like a launch space there that they use. Why do I know that?
That's why we have Cape Canaveral. It's the closest thing that we own of our own land that's in closer to the equator.
Yes. Why don't we just use the same space as them? Like, why don't we?
South America?
Yeah.
Because it's another country, and now you have to deal with agreements and move the equipment and all those things.
I mean, it just seems.
You'd rather launch it from your own country.
I guess we can't like negotiate.
No, but it's a lot of equipment, so you'd have to move all these engineers down there, and all it'd be expensive.
I guess.
It's cheaper if you have a place in America.
But Cape Canaveral isn't as close as like the equator.
Best shot. So it's the difference now. It's just the difference in the price of fuel.
I guess.
Right, and that can be actually cheaper than you paying a bunch of engineers to go to South America and live there. Right, and take care of them and feed them and all of the stuff that goes in their families, and that gets expensive.
Okay, fine. I learned while I was at ESA that their programming language that they created to serve as a foundation for the languages on their probes is called Taste. True story. So, like, the engineers were, like, talking amongst each other, and they kept, like, referring to this, like, thing as taste, and I kept hearing the word taste, and I thought I was losing my mind, because I use that word quite a lot because of Noodle. And then I finally asked them what taste was, and they're like, oh, that's, like, their operating system, or their, like, language for the languages. It's, like, their platform language for their space probes, which I think is amazing. And I don't remember what it taste stands for. I just know that that's the name of the language, and it seems like super magic coincidence to me. So there was this like moment in time, like in the planetary robotics lab at ESA or at STech, where I find out this bit of knowledge and I like bust out laughing and freaking out, and no one understands why. And I realize in that moment that if I try to explain why that fact excites me so much, everyone in the room is going to think I'm fucking insane. So I do it, because I have to at that point. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, that's right, you're not listening to me. I'm sorry. I cry at night.
Sorry.
I have this, like, desire to include you in my discussion because you're sitting here now.
No. That. Alvaro's at DEF CON.
Aww.
Picture of him on Twitter.
I haven't heard from him. I need to message him. They're all having fun. All my friends are here having fun without me. Wah. What? Aww. Does he have his, is that the badge? Is it a circle?
Those translucent LED badges.
What? I don't even know what the DEF CON badge looks like this year. Have you seen it?
Maybe that's it.
Because it's not an electronic badge, because I only do that every other year. Like, what?
Oh, I don't know.
So it's got to be like something, some other quirky thing that's not a record because they already did that bullshit.
I'm seeing a lot of these translucent and colored discs. Maybe that's it. They're just these nondescript discs this year.
The fuck is?
Easy to copy.
Cool, am I gonna counterfeit my badge? Is this gonna be the year?
Cut it out of paper.
There's a counterfeit badge contest at DEF CON every year. We always talk about doing it, but we haven't yet. Still.
Yeah, one of these years I'm just gonna tool up on like resins and dyes and laser cutter and all that. And as soon as I see what it looks like,
Oh.
I'll spend all night making it.
Thank you for reminding me about the controller board. What are we using to control these motors?
Faith and thoughts and prayers. I don't know.
You made a board.
What do you mean? What are we using?
The controller board. You made a controller board for these motors. Remember? You had it made? What is it? Like, what's the details on that?
Oh, the adapter?
Yes.
It's a signal adapter.
Okay, it's a signal adapter.
So it takes the
Come here, talk.
it takes the
Yeah.
I worked all day. I want to have a drink and look at Twitter feeds.
Twitter feeds.
Hi people.
There's a mark.
All right, so these motors take something called RS485 or RS422, which is a special signal. Am I saying this right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's so it's the same signal except it's been put. They split the signal from one wire to two wire, and they invert the second signal, and then at the end that's receiving that signal, because one's the inversion of the other, it compares the two signals, and if they don't match in that inverted way, then you know there's noise on the line because they're the mirror image of each other, and they better resolve to zero, right? So the receiver can know if there's noise on the line and can ignore commands that have bad data. So it's a way of knowing that your data is good when you receive it, and that protocol is used for lots of the military uses a lot for things that are when you have a lot of devices on one serial line and they have to sometimes go many feet over wire, which is problematic for signals. Is you lose signal quality, like for every foot you go over a
Fidelity.
wire. So it's an old standard from the 60s. It's still used in alarms, military systems. But they call differential pair. So you've taken the same signal, inverted, mirrored it, and then it better resolve at the other end type of thing. So that's what they do. So I took that signal and made a little board that has a chip that turns it into the two signals that the motor wants. And it's bidirectional. So there was another pin I had to add that makes it whether you're receiving a command or sending a command, because the motors can talk back to the controller and tell you what their position is or if they're overheating or those kinds of things. So it's like a little network of motors rather than you just commanding like not steppers, but servos. It's a one-way communication. So this lets you talk to the motors and find out, are they okay? Are they really moving? And all the things that the motor would know about itself. So each motor has a microcontroller inside of it. So it's like a bunch of little microcomputers talking together in harmony. So I made a board that just translates that. And I put the connector that the motors use, which is some kind of odd Molex connector. So I found that connector in a catalog, and so I put that on the board, and so I can use all the standard cables, and I'm not doing some weird header pin hackery. Everything's kosher.
I don't think the AX12As use RS45.
The new servers do. The older ones, AX12 included, uses half duplex. Oh yeah, you're right. So I was doing this from memory. The bigger motors, they're more advanced motors, are RS45. This is just a bidirectional serial, I believe. I have to look at schematic because I had to put a special chip on there. But yeah, it's like you put it in receive mode or you put it in send mode. Maybe it's just one wire instead of a differential pair. Sorry, I stand corrected. So blah.
I don't know.
So
I don't actually know.
It's complicated. It's hard to work with, but it is a good idea when you have that many motors and you don't want your robot twitching all over the place. So
Noodle has been twitchy.
no twitching, Noodle.
Noodle.
So
Tweak.
so dat.
I don't know.
But yeah. And then I found a open source Arduino library on somebody's GitHub. That is it's an Arduino library for running these motors. So all that I didn't have to go write a lot of extra code to talk to the motors. So that person's library just kind of worked. So that's what I did. Still more to do.
Shape Daddy's here.
Outside?
Nope. No.
Oh, he's like, hi, Shape Daddy. Is your printer cooperating?
Tony asked if the printer.
You may have to calibrate the Z layer. I think it was a little high and it wasn't sticking on the first layer. So either just cake it with more hairspray or we'll lower it down like 0.2 millimeters. Could run the calibration process again and just. I don't know why it would have changed though.
Every couple of prints, it like decides that it doesn't know how to like print the first layer on the print bed anymore, and it will make a giant wad.
I was wondering if that was the like residue from the TPU.
That's what Tony said.
And it created a non-stick problem. So.
No, like if there's stuff left in there's gunk
left
in the nozzle.
I ran that thing many times over. There might be a chunk in there that's clogging it. It didn't feel like a clog because when I ran it, it would just run. It wasn't like it was clogged. So I think it just didn't want to stick to that heat bed.
It's running for now. So I've been printing all day, and I did print overnight, so that worked. Like we got it sorted out before I went to bed, and it's been a non-issue all day. I think I stripped this Allen wrench.
Are you gonna ruin all my Allen wrenches?
This is my Allen wrench.
Oh, okay, fine. Strip all your Allen wrenches. You can go to McFadden and buy maybe 2 or 3 of those.
I need one with a handle.
Okay, we can get those off of McMaster, or we can. They sell those at McFadden, the handles. So we'll go make a date over there one day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
McFadden date?
Yep. Romantic hardware store shopping.
Those are the best kinds of dates. Go look at threaded rod together. And rope.
James says, as I understand, the idea of differential pair isn't quite that. You might be more familiar with it in the context of Ethernet or USB. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but differential pair is just for signal quality issues. I don't know of any other way you'd use it. Maybe you could clarify. But it is specifically to double check that, or to know that if you're having error or not and canceling it out.
What are you doing?
What?
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 What are we wanting? All right, I'm gonna go.
Last motor, guys.
Daddy's gonna make a cocktail.
Mommy's gonna make a cocktail. Is it cocktail time?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a batch of
juice?
Red juice.
Is that other botched one mine then? The one...
You can have that.
Why did you have to?
Did you tell them what happened?
No. You should tell them what happened.
So when I make Bloody Mary, I get the whole thing of tomato juice and or vegetable juice, and I put the spices in it and all of that. And yesterday I didn't have enough pickle juice, so as an experiment I added some vinegar, and I added too much vinegar, and it to me tasted awful. And then she tastes it and she's like, this is the best thing you've ever made. So she gets that whole batch. So I just came from the store and I bought more red juice, and I'm gonna not put vinegar in it ever again.
Well, I mean, you're drinking, like, a Bloody Mary is mostly that.
Yeah, I wanted some acid, so I didn't think it'd be a big deal.
No, my point is, like, a Bloody Mary is, like, ratio-wise, it's more tomato to vodka, but I'm only floating a tiny little bit of
we went to the bar the other day, and I had a Bloody Mary, and it was very pickly juicy.
I'm not done talking.
Well, I'm just saying.
God damn.
What?
Jesus. I think the reason why it tasted shittier to you is because you're using more of it in your beverage versus mine. That was the point I'm trying to make.
Oh, straight up. Yeah, you're diluting your with beer.
Yeah, but yeah, there's only this much tomato in mine, but it's this much tomato in yours.
Maybe.
Yes.
Sure. It's all yours.
But whatever.
It tasted like actual vinegar to me, though, and so it wasn't tomato anymore. So.
Go make it. What are you reading the chat?
Oh, somebody's spamming you.
Cool, let's put them in timeout.
Hide them. We can put them in timeout.
Yeah, look.
Sweet.
Sorry. Oh my god.
Russian bots. Alright. It was nice talking to you, everybody.
Bye, Mark.
Oh, James is correcting me on this differential pair thing. Get rid of the adds and removes a bit of voltage. Hopefully done in the same both halves. Subtracting voltage.
Does
Sure.
Mark not know what he's talking about?
It's all like.
Is Mark full of shit?
Most of this is from school, and I've used it a few times, and it works. So.
Do you not actually know anything?
No, I should not touch your robots ever again. I shouldn't help you for anything. I'm never doing a board for you because I want you to be safe. So. I'm taking you to the airport right now to go to Europe.
Is that my home now?
The what?
Is that my home now?
Yes. All right.
I'm Julia Child.
Bye, Eleanor. Eleanor said bye.
She said,
oh, bye.
Oh, bye, Mark.
Oh, bye, one Kenobi?
Oh, bye?
No. Yeah.
Oh, bye?
Okay. I'm going to go inebriate myself and think about differential signaling.
It's Mark's Friday.
Yes. Not doing it.
Mark's off on actual Friday, so this is Mark's. That came with something I got from IKEA.
That came with the lamp?
Yes. Or something.
What does it do?
I think it came with the hooks for the curtains, maybe? I don't know. It came with some...
It has a lamp instruction
Oh.
to it.
I don't know. It came with a lamp thing.
Have fun with the thing you're doing.
I'm almost done with this part, and then I'm going to go make a cocktail real quick and take a break because my fingers are killing me. Ah! I stripped an Allen wrench. Jesus. Leg day at the Noodle Gym? It is definitely leg day in this gym. It is the leggiest day. The leggest. Oh man, and tomorrow is French Toast Friday, or Kiddie Pool Friday, or whatever kind of Friday that we're doing these days. Mark saw his chance to get out of work. Yeah. I'm just giving him shit. That's what you do. You're fine. I think it's funny. I don't know anything about that. Oh god, who's messaging me? Ugh. Nobody. The answer is nobody. Ah, why? I'm twisting it and it's not going in. I'm so confused. Ugh. It's like I come down to like the final nut, of course, and it just doesn't want to cooperate with me. It's like when you can see the finish line up ahead in your field of view that you trip over a pebble and you fall on your face. I'm having one of those moments. How long have I been doing this? Wow, I've been doing this for 2 hours and 20 minutes already? Damn. Really? I started this 2 hours ago. Oh, man, I guess so. I guess it is. Wow. Man. Time. It's so strange. Okay, that needed to go in more. The nut needed to be deeper, folks. Okay, this is the final nut on this motor portion of this endeavor. Leg day for Noodle. Alright, and then I'm going to grab a cocktail and pee and take a break since it's been like 2 hours. I'm gonna put these on the camera so you can bask in the glory of my progress. I guess I can put these nuts back. Too many nuts. Do I have a tap for the thread? I don't know. Deep nut time? It's leg day and deep nut time. All in one day up in this house. I don't know if I have a tap for this thread because I'm not even entirely sure. I think it's a 2. These are 2 millimeter metric nuts somewhere. It's probably in the garage and it's going to involve like an actual Fellowship of the Ring level thing to dig out of the garage if I insist on getting it. I don't know if that's gonna matter. Not sure. Might be a problem. Don't know yet. We'll see. If it's a problem, I'll fix it. But whatever. Okay, so these are the 3 things that I just finished putting motors on. Sorry that was super boring. But your company keeps me filled with inspiration and it uplifts me and helps propel me like a, I don't know, like a pie through the sky, going twice as high, to get this stuff done. Because yeah, it is really boring if I just sit here quietly by myself and kind of grind through this alone. But I'm gonna go to the restroom and get that, I guess vinegar-laden michelada made with Mark's botched batch of Bloody Mary mix from yesterday. And I'll be right back. I'll be a couple of minutes. It shouldn't take too terribly long. There we go. I encourage everyone to take a break as well. Break time. Oh. Hey, I'm back. Oh man, what did I miss? Grind, scream, hard, solid, thick, penetrate, blood, drill, invade, moist, wet, damp, humid, loud, come, heavy, deep. What? Was that a poem for me? Thank you for the poem. Oh, if something happened, like a raccoon entering the room and taking one of the motors away, I'd be very sad. I'm like dripping. Pretty good. Why is this dripping? Does this thing have a leak? The fuck? Hang on. Okay, it is alright. I guess this goes here again. Weird. Anyhow. So the way the upper right camera is positioned, it looks like a giant pair of noodle eyes just staring, judging the assembly of a smaller noodle. Yeah? Aw, that's right. The lights. Oh, that's funny. You're talking about the lanterns, right? That's funny. I see what you mean. Those are like Noodle's eyes. I guess if I hung them like at the exact same height, then they would be like Noodle's eyes behind me, like judging everybody. Maybe I should do that. What do you guys think? Should I level out the lanterns and then have Noodle's spiritual gaze judging everybody on the stream each and every time I do this? Or just sort of like over my shoulder, like looking into your soul? They could even be red. Hell yeah. Hi Joshua, I'm back. That's funny. Yeah, it was weird, like my glass was like dripping like very steadily, more so than like condensation would allow for. Granted, I did like spill the beer over the sides when I poured it, so it was probably just like collected along the bottom of the glass, but I don't know, it seemed a little weird. Not as good as yesterday, but whatever. I'm not picky. Alright, so the part that I'm doing next, without further ado, if I take this, oh god, this buddy, and put it back front and center, I can show you that these legs, or at least the part that I'm assembling right now, the motors, the bracket that the motors mount to is pretty those two pieces are pretty far apart, right? And what I mean by that is the distance from this to this is pretty far. If I were to stick one of Noodle's leg bones in between these two parallel bars, I'd need spacers or something, or the actual bone would need to be really chonky. So what I did was I created sort of a, I guess it's like the bone proper, which is this central piece right here. And these are the correct distance from one another. And then those just sort of exist in between these two mounting plates and are mounted together with these little spacers in between. So I guess the motors mount onto their mounting plate, and then the mounting plate mounts onto the bone, which is this piece right here. So there are these sort of intermediary spacers to kind of close the gap between the two. So yeah, bone, spacer, mounting plate, motor, which is just how that's gotta work in this case. The thing that I don't know if I printed out or not, because even if I did, it's like really impossible to find it on the table at this point. I don't know if I printed those spacers out yet because I had not yet decided on a pipe thickness for the actual femur bone, which is this long rod thing right here. I have since done so, so I can probably design out some spacers real quick and print them. Won't take too terribly long. In any case, there's other stuff that I could do. So I don't know if Tony's still on the stream with us, but last week, like exactly a week ago, I was over in his shop finishing off these bones right here. So, Shape Daddy helped me with the shapes. Makes sense, right? Helped me make sure that the holes were in the correct position. Like a nice, relatively precise position. And the other thing that's different about these from his old femurs, his old femur bone was a pipe. It was all the same diameter of pipe from top to bottom, and the pipe chucked into bearings in his hip bone, like his not hip bone, his pelvis. And this was all fine and good, like the pipe chucked into the bearing, all nice and everything, but where I had to drill into the pipe here at the bottom to attach his actual parallel bars, I ran into some issues because the drill presses that I had access to at the time, they vibrated pretty terribly, and it was almost impossible to get the drill bit to land directly on the apex of the pipe and drill straight through. So Noodle's current legs, all of the attachment points down here kind of go into the pipe. It's slightly different. Like, it's not directly on the top of the pipe, or the pipe's rotated slightly, so they're going in at different, like, angles. It's bad. I somehow managed to still assemble them and make them work, but the only way that I could actually get the legs together was to not tighten everything up as tight as they could get, so the hardware is actually not clamped down on there properly. If I tried to tighten everything up, then the legs just wouldn't work because the holes were all wonky. But the square pipe kind of fixes that. It kind of solves that problem, because the bones will just, you know, attach directly onto this flat surface. And it was easier to get holes drilled in the correct place on the flat surface. Oh yeah, and then since there needs to be something cylindrical that goes into the bearing of his pelvis, I just got some aluminum rod and cut smaller chunks and jammed those inside of the stock, the square stock, and this is the part that's actually going to like go up inside of his hip socket pelvis piece. So his I don't know, his legs are going to have a slightly different look to them because of this tubing, but I think his legs will actually work a lot better because they're not wonk. Mommy did her best, Noodle. Okay, and then I printed, oh god, come here, these things. So this is the piece that actually combines the two, like the square tube to the cylindrical stock, solid pipe, whatever. Square tube. Square, whatever. It's a tube. That's what I'm gonna call it. 3D print some V blocks to hold the pipe. I had a jig for the pipe and I still fucked it up. Like I had a thing that the pipe chucked into to help hold it in place and it was clamped. It was like, I did think of this. It just, the Mark's drill press shakes like a lot. It's not very great, but it will get the job done in a pinch. It works on flat surfaces okay, but like drilling into pipe, it was enough of a bad that it caused problems. Whatever. So I'm going to put these on, because I know they fit. There we go. And then I'm going to screw them on with the appropriate hardware. Go. There we go. Okay. Cool. And I probably need 18s, I'm guessing, or 16s. Let's try 16s first. Not even close. I'm gonna say 22s, which are over here. There we go. Bloop. Oh, Noodle says he must be present for any more metal bits. What do you mean? You mean he has to like come and supervise and make sure that we don't like bleed on his parts? Where's my twisty? Ah. There we go. Noodle can be present. I can bring him over the next time we do. What do we need to make next? I need to make frame pieces for his feet. That's like the next thing, I believe. Oh wow, 22s are even kind of... Okay, so those are also kind of short. They're like just too short. Shorter than I would like. So 24mm pieces it is. Do I have 24s? Yes. Where do they put them? 16, 22, 24. All right, hopefully 2, 4, 6. I'm gonna have to harvest a couple of these from somewhere, it looks like. I have a bag of miscellaneous hardware that I need to sort and put away. But it's just one bag. It's not like a drawer. I'm sure I can find 2 more 24s. Oh god! More lock nuts than sense. Ah, that might be a problem though. If that ends up... No, I don't think it is. Okay, I think I might be short on hardware for the attachment of the parallel bars to the femurs. Because I'm not entirely sure what length I'm going to need at this point. Sorry. There it is. I wish I could show you guys easily, without uprooting everything, what the rest of the bench looks like the area that is off camera, because it is a, it is terrifying right now. It's perfect. There we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect length. Nice. Very nice. He demanded the sacrifice of blood, so that is what he got. Aww. The first time... It was like the first or second time I was over at Tony's, or Shape Daddy's place, working on noodles. I think it was the second time I did a new batch of legs for him, and I decided, okay, this batch is going to be made out of aluminum. So I brought a bunch of thick, like 5 millimeter thick aluminum sheet over to cut his parallel bars out of. And that's like pieces like this, roughly. So they're flat, they need some holes drilled in them. They're kind of a custom curved shape. So, I don't know what the hell we were doing. I want to say I was filing the edges off of, like the sharp edges after I had kind of cut the raw aluminum, and something happened. I don't know, it was an accident, but first blood was drawn by the Shape Daddy, and he got blood on the bones, on the pieces, which once they taste blood, they develop a palate for it. But we always joke that that was the initial first blood sacrifice made by one of Noodle's parents on behalf of his growth, I guess. Been a lot more careful since then. I don't think that's happened again. Knock on wood. No more minor injuries while creating noodle parts. But I remember while we were doing that, I detached his head, and his head was just sort of perched on like a book or something on the table watching us while we were drinking and making his parts. True story. So he got to watch himself be made, which is a weird thing that robots get to do that us humans do not. Noodle has been blooded. Noodle has tasted ox blood. This one's gonna be wonky. Can I screw it in? Maybe. And yes, I do hate doing this. It's like equal parts love and hate. I'm gonna say there's good points of like assembling your own shit, but then there's always those moments that you hit where you are struggling and you're like, why the fuck did I design this way? Because you always have the best intentions when you're like brainstorming something or drawing it out or even doing it in CAD, where you think you're doing yourself a favor, but then you realize later on that you're really not, or you just completely, there's like an oversight of some sort that leads to your suffering later. You got your drink?
Yeah.
How's this batch?
It came out good.
Is it better?
Yeah, because I put horseradish, pepper.
Ooh, there's horseradish?
Pickle juice. Yeah, I ground up the, grated the horseradish. Put a crap load of that in there. What else is in there? Worcestershire. Salt. Celery salt. It came out really savory.
I might try that.
You want to sip?
Yeah. Because you put horseradish in it, and I really, really like horseradish in Bloody Marys. That's the shit.
Got shit.
Oh, that's good. Wow. Mark got this like really great horseradish root. It looks like a dick with balls. It's
Now it's a cut up dick in a bag.
oh man. It looks very phallic. And he ground it up like fresh horseradish and put it in that mix. Like Mark makes Bloody Mary mix like in like per jug, so he puts like pickle juice, lemon juice. Last time he put ground up celery in it, which was really good. This time he put ground up horseradish. It's really tasty. The one I'm having right now, it's alright. It'll do. I wouldn't throw it down the sink, but it's not the best.
I'm never putting vinegar. I learned that lesson.
Yeah, you should never do that.
I was just looking for that vinegary, and I figured.
What were you thinking?
It was just too much of it, I guess.
God damn it. This one's being fussy. Whole good vegetables should look vaguely like genitals. I guess now that you pointed out, that's probably true. I never really thought of it that way, but you're right.
Don't let it stop you.
Don't let the phallus stop you. Oh man. Okay. The phallus palace. Okay. That's 2. Almost there. Other than the harvesting of parts that is going to have to take place shortly. Horseradish is awesome. Man, we need to go do primarily primer. What do you mean?
I put a good amount in, like a few tablespoons.
Yeah.
But I have left in a little thing. I just wanted to not overpower it, but it looks like it can handle more.
Oh, I like it.
I'll go back and taste it again.
I like it.
No more. I want that burn.
It's good. Horseradish burns like the best. Now this is like making my drink feel really inferior and sad. Yeah, that's disappointing. Where's my hardware bag? Is that you? Yes. This is my my bag of miscellaneous hardware that needs to be sorted. If I had some light. Alright, I need 2 more 24s, and I'm gonna cross my fingers like crazy that that isn't the size I end up needing for the rest of the legs. Otherwise, I can't do any more work on these tonight until I go to McFadden. Mark, do you want to go to McFadden tomorrow with me?
Yeah, we're gonna have to squeeze it in between, Oh no, that's Sunday.
What's Sunday?
Yes. Sunday we're double donging it, right?
What are we double donging on
We
Sunday?
got DEFCON breakfast, and then we have your mother's house.
That's right.
So we're getting it from both ends.
Okay.
I was thinking that was Friday morning, but yeah, sure. We'll jaunt over to McFadden Dale.
McFadden.
New M3 tool that we can buy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. McFadden. Is that a 20? No. Ugh. Cries of dissatisfaction. Haha. Success. I cry out. Hi, Death Shaker. The best kinds of bags. The miscellaneous grab bags of hardware. At least I know to put it all in one place. I don't just sort of... I don't know. I don't put it in a drawer. Noodle says you could keep it in a sock. Just socks full of miscellaneous hardware forever. Noodle. This one just slid right in. It's really nice when it just slides right in, Mark. What?
Right.
Assembly mode forever. Yeah, the only thing that might slow me down is I'm gonna need those spacers soon. If I didn't already print them, which I don't see them, like just scanning the periphery of my menagerie in the distance, I don't see that I printed them already, and I don't think I did because I know that until very recently I wasn't sure what size they're going to need to be. So I might have to print a few of them real quick before I can continue. But in any case, I mean, it's been going on 3 hours, I should probably like wrap this up shortly. I'll be back though. I'm gonna probably be doing this every day for the month of August, to be perfectly honest. Like, I've got so much shit to assemble. Like, a lot of stuff needs to be assembled. And that's okay. And I have stuff to draw too, now that I think about it, which I could probably stream drawing my technical drawings as well. That might be fun. It's a lot of stuff that's deadline-y and kind of sort of monotonous. It's nice to have company. Okay, so the next thing that I think I can do is attach those white bones to the femur, along with the tibia, which are these gray pieces right here. The only thing I can't attach is the motors to the fibula, which is the curvy bone of the two. Because I need spacers. Tomorrow's Friday already, isn't it? Jeez. I hate that the weeks are just melting by. The super really big question is whether I actually go down to the strip to visit the DEF CONs.
DEF-CONers.
The DEF CONs. Do I want to do that? That is the question.
I saw my first kill today.
Your first kilt?
Yeah.
You saw Utila kilt
With
today?
blinking badge.
Oh no. The Luxor?
Yeah, because the Mandalay Bay, which is next to us, has the black hat.
I was gonna say it made it that far, eh?
Well, no, the black hat's wrapping up, so those people are now that are staying are migrating over
The black
to their
hat.
new location.
Their new party point?
Yep.
The party pony?
So it's like maybe 5 blinky badges thus far.
Okay. 20s are not my jam. Or 22's my jam. Because if they're not, then I really need to go to McFadden tomorrow. Let's see, our 22's my jam. No. Fuck. Okay. Guess what hardware size I need to use to attach all these bone pieces, guys? Huh? I'm sure you know. It's the one that I just ran out of right here. The 24s. Fuck. Okay. Mark.
What?
I need 24s. We need to go to
We all need a 24.
McFatten.
Martindale?
Yes. Meh. Okay. That's okay. I've been doing this long enough anyway. Alright, well, okay. If I put all this away out of your field of view. Oh my god, that's heavier than it ought to be. Derp. Okay, so that leaves me with femur bones partially connected. I can at least show you how these chuck into the head right here. Noodle's new skull. Bloop. Seems like my camera zoomed in a bit. Oh, it totally is. Sorry about that. Dope. So these chuck into these cavities that have bearings kind of captured inside of them. And they should, unless we need to like shave these down even more, which we might, they should capture in the bearings nice and easy like. That one needs a bit more. Or maybe not. Like so. So that they can turn with ease. So you can see the femur runs through and then sticks out. And I need to make like a little indentation at the end of the tube for one of those little C-pin things that Shape Daddy introduced me to and I'd never heard of before. Uh-oh, I saw the word NoodleCon. How do we submit research papers to NoodleCon? Oh, are submissions open yet? Shit! I mean, I guess I do need to have NoodleCon tomorrow, don't I?
Yeah.
Tomorrow is supposed to be NoodleCon day. I'm supposed to go to the food court at one of the DEF CON properties and be a tool.
You should accept research papers.
Yeah?
And the rule is it needs to be 1 page.
1 page?
One side, 1 page, at least 2 illustrations, as in chart or graphic.
Yeah?
The abstract and the paper, and you have and the font no less than 10-point font. You have to fit that all on your paper.
What would they be of, though?
Well, no, it just limits. It's one page.
Well, I mean, what would the research papers be
Whatever
on?
the person's admitting research and how they think Noodle will accept
Deal.
their work.
Deal. I need to make a platform for this.
You need to set constraints such that you can only have so many words in the paper, and it needs to say something. It needs to make a point, right? So
Noodle.
it's a challenge.
Noodle, are you ready for NoodleCon? He says, I mean, that's why everyone's in town, duh. He says...
You can publish the proceedings of NoodleCon in a book.
Yeah.
Like an ebook or something, and put it up on...
NoodleCon?
We'll put it up on Amazon.
That's a good idea.
Prime Books.
I have to do this now. Noodle... Noodle...
You could have paper like, you know, the post effects of bean smashing on plastic toe pieces.
Yeah.
Something like that. You know, those are one of those long
Yeah.
stupid titles.
So yeah, these keep the legs nice and parallel to one another. So they'll like chuck into his body like so. But I'm not ready to do that part yet because I'm not done with the damn legs because I'm out of hardware. And I need to print spacers. It's always something. I'm happy that these are nice and tight though, at least. It's always good to have a nice tight fit, right, Mark?
Yeah.
Well...
Better.
Okay. Alright, kids. I'm gonna go put some of that delicious new juice, the Mark's Sassy sauce, in my dirty beer, and I'm gonna probably take a little bit of a break. I'm probably gonna do some PvP in my MMO, like a violent mofo.
I have news.
What?
Somebody just bought 8 of my Equinox Sprite modules.
How much is that?
30 times...
8?
45 times 8. $200.
Sweet. Good job.
That's a good... It's probably the guy that was asking about it.
Mark got a big Tindy order just now.
Oh, that means I gotta deliver it.
I know all about that. Pain.
Yay, money.
Good job, Mark. I'm proud of you. You're a good pizza. Aww. I can totally take submissions this year. No, you should totally submit a research paper for NoodleCon. I'm gonna do, I don't know.
1 page, 2 illustrations, no less than 10-point font.
No more than 10 point
No
font.
more than 10.
No, it would be 12. 12 is normal size.
I think 10 is in there.
No.
Well, papers have small fonts, so
I don't know.
you don't want to limit it too much.
It should be a page
that.
with drawings.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you need an abstract.
Yeah.
So the abstract,
Whatever
let's do the
Mark
paper
says.
Format.
I don't know. I'm an artist. I
Well,
don't.
look at paper formats. 1 page.
Okay.
The whole research body needs to be clean. 1 page.
Okay. I think NoodleCon proper is probably going to end up happening tomorrow in some capacity. Because it's, what, Friday?
Sure.
Sure.
We should just do that Saturday.
No, because Saturday I'm going to wear my back thing for the neck. The neck sucker thing.
Where are you going to do that at? You're just going to walk around?
At DEF CON.
No, somebody got you a badge, didn't they?
Yes.
You know people.
Yes.
Right. I don't know people, so I don't get the badge.
You have to bring the cheese to the table.
So I'm dropping you off or something like that?
Yes. Yes. And I can visit my friends. I'm gonna say I'm gonna make an actual proper webpage for NoodleCon and attach it to this year's this year's list of things that Noodle is doing, and I'm going to publish basically like an outline of everything that happens. So if you submit an abstract for NoodleCon research, I will put it up on the page that I end up making to document this point in history. This, I guess it's NoodleCon too, even though there's no badge. I don't know. I do have the time to prepare a badge for SuperCon. So if I really wanted to, I could funnel my energy into preparing something proper for SuperCon this year. Mikus, I don't know if you did you mention that you do SuperCon? I think I recall that. If so, then that might be the thing that I plan for November. I'm just like holding his skull like a lantern. Mark, I'm gonna go get some of your spicy sauce in my drink, and then I'm gonna do the battlegrounds. All right, Noodle. Mommy needs size 24 hardware for your legs, and then she can continue making your pieces. And I guess I'll be on the strip tomorrow, because I don't have any place to put this. Fuck. It's bad when your desk is so full you have no place to put your kid's skull. That rhymed. Hi, Kobe Clips. How are you doing? Mark's Tindy. What is your Tindy called, Mark?
I think it's Circuit Monkey, but I'm gonna double check.
It's Circuit Monkey. It has to be. Like, what else would it be called?
Maybe Mayhem.
It's Circuit Monkey. Just type in Circuit Monkey. Alright. I don't think... Cons and research papers. It's Food Court Con. It's NoodleCon, which is held in the food court.
Yeah, if you search Circuit Monkey, you'll see the LED modules in my store. Yes.
What else can I assemble? Oh yeah. The other thing that I made today, earlier today, like this morning, was this plate, like a mounting plate for the elastic of that back syringe thing that I made last weekend when I was streaming. This thing. So that's like the finished assembly with all the syringes on the standoffs and everything, but it needs a way to mount to my back. So there's this black ugly thing here that's it's held up off of the mounting plate by like 3 millimeters or so, which you can't see. Yeah, you can't really see it. Yeah, you kind of can over on this side here. But it's not flush with the mounting plate, and that's so that there are these loops right here, and right here, and right here, for the sake of stringing elastic thick band through so that I can actually make my elastic gun vest and then attach these to it. So that's another thing, yet another thing that I need to get done today at some point in time, now that I'm done working on Noodle's leg bones and the like. I don't know if I'm gonna do that right now. I'm probably gonna actually take a break because I've been at it all day. And it's 6:30 already. Damn. Okay. All right, kids. Thank you for keeping me company. Thank you for hanging out with me while I got through all of that stuff. Here, let me put it back on screen real quick. I already put the femurs away, but these aren't super exciting, but they're gonna get attached to the leg bones probably early tomorrow, and I might stream it unless I'm at DEF CON. I don't have time to go to DEF CON. Fuck. Ah! Maybe I pick one day and I just do one day. Anyhow, alright. Problems. Alright, I'm gonna enjoy the rest of the evening, though I'll be working. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your morning, night, or afternoon, or evening, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are from. And again, thank you for being here. And Mark says goodbye too, yeah?
Goodbye, everybody.
Take care. Noodle says bye too. Noodle says he wants cable.